my wonderful fellow bookworms. It is me, Liz Robeson, and welcome to my channel where I read and review books. Today, I am doing a little bit of a catch-up video on all the books I've read during my little mental break I had to do. But anyways, the first book we're going to talk about is, I even have a script. The Ocean at the End of the Sea by Neil Gaiman. I rated this book 3 stars. I think I was reading it faster than I could process like the story behind the book. The story starts off with this man that goes to his childhood neighborhood, we'll say, and then he visits this old farm that he used to hang out or play with their daughter at the end of the lane. So, and as he's visiting, he talks to the old woman that greets him there. I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I read it. He gets to the end of the lane. He meets the old woman. He's like, can I go check out the ocean? The ocean's like a pond, but his friend always called it the ocean. So as he sits next to it and everything, he remembers all of the things of his childhood that he seems to forget as soon as he leaves this area. And so the story is he was having a lot of bad luck. It starts out with his birthday party that he invited his whole entire class to, but no one showed up. And he's like, it's the worst day ever. And so he goes, and also his parents start renting out his room, so he has to room with his sister. And one of the people that they take in is a miner of some sort, and of course he also had a kitten. And when the miner showed up, his kitten was in an accident, and the miner said he took care of it, and he replaced his kitten with this cat that hates him. It's mean. And he's like, this is not my cat. This is not my kitten. But eventually the miner goes missing, steals the car. They find it. They find the car at the end of the lane with the miner inside, and he is sadly deceased. But this is how he meets the family that lives at the end of the lane. And he gets to know the daughter. She takes him all these adventures with these mysterious creatures. Because this family's not normal. And you go through all the adventures and how he has to try to figure out. Because at one point he gets a nanny, and his life is just a living hell with this nanny. So he's trying to figure out how to get rid of her and everything. His friend sacrifices herself for him, and that's all I can remember. Like I said, it's been a while since I read this book, but I gave it 3 stars. There's more meaning into the story than you actually see, but I read it so fast and I read it so long ago, I couldn't process the meaning. So, but that's that. So, but it is 181 pages. I did read it for my 48-hour reading challenge that I never succeeded, but I tried. The next book we're going to talk about is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This book I could not put down. Like, I was constantly thinking about it when I was not reading it. I gave it 5 stars. It is 381 pages of suspense and questioning on what is going on. What I wrote as a note, as I don't know, kind of about what the book is about, is it follows Jules, who accepts a job as an apartment sitter at this luxurious apartment building. She thinks it's too good to be true because she's just living rent-free in this building, in this luxurious apartment, for $12,000 for 3 months. And I was like, but there are some rules. You can't communicate with the attendants unless they talk to you first. You can't pester them. she can't sleep outside of the apartment. She has to stay in the apartment every single night. And she's not allowed to have anyone over. Of course, these rules are, she's like, they're a little strange, but I understand. Because, you know, you got some high class, important people living in this building. But she just brushes it off. But she meets one of her fellow apartment sitters who lives in the apartment building below her, and this other apartment sitter mentions some things that are a little weird, and then suddenly she goes missing. So as Jules is looking for this apartment sitter, because, you know, it's her first friend in this new building, and she has no idea what is going on, and things are just getting weirder and weirder and weirder as she goes in. There is a bit of a twist in the story and everything, and when you find out what this building is really for, it's like, wow, this has been going on for years. And I was like I said, I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I look forward to reading more of Riley Sager's books, because that was an amazing book. And I'm wondering if any of her other books are the same. The third book I've read, Lock Every Door was also a book for the 48-hour reading challenge that I never finished. I think I was halfway through this book when that challenge ended. But anyways, the third book that I've read is Tomie 1 by Junji Ito. I gave it 3 stars. It is 248 pages. It is a graphic novel. I picked this book up because I was really interested in Junji Ito's work after hearing so many videos about it and everything, and how they have deeper meanings. And the first line of the summary, I had to include it, is the first volume of a series that introduces us to Tomie, a girl who simply will not die. And I was like, okay. When I first got this book, I thought it said tome instead of Tomie. So I thought it was like a collection of his stuff, but it is a collection, but of a certain character called Tomie. And I can't really explain what all goes on. It's been a while since I read it. It was really interesting. I'm still trying to figure out who Tomie is, but it's very, very interesting. All right. And the next book I read is Hold On Tight by Abby Glines. Gave it 4 stars. It is 288 pages. And the note I put for it is, it feels like a Hallmark movie and a Lifetime movie had a baby. Let me explain. So the main character, I think her name is Willa. She was dating this guy in high school and everything. He wasn't a great boyfriend, but she was dating this guy. She was in love with him, but he dies tragically in an accident. And so she gets sent away because she ends up pregnant with his child. And she's trying to communicate, and her parents don't want anything to do with her, so they ship her off to her aunt in Texas. And while she was with her aunt, she was writing letters to the family of her father's child, but she's never heard of them, so she thinks, okay, they don't want anything to do with me. But eventually she moves back home with her child, and the brother of her deceased boyfriend enters her life, and she's always had a crush on the brother. And of course, this is where the whole, Hallmark thing comes from. They're childhood friends, and they're completely, attracted to each other, but they're he's no, I'm no good for her, and she's my brother's girlfriend, and he was perfect for her, not me. And she's his family didn't want anything to do with me and my son, but I really like him, but I'm afraid he's going to abandon me like everyone else does. It's just the back and forth the whole book. So that's why it got 4 stars for me. But I did like the concept and everything and the redemption. So the next book I read was Scythe by Neil Schusterman. I'm trying so hard to say these names. Gave it 3 stars. It is 435 pages. I did this in audiobook form. And it's such an interesting concept because I want to say it's dystopian. Humans have figured out how to conquer death. So people can live on forever whenever they feel like they're getting too old. But due to the fact that no one is dying, in order to control the population, they have an organization called the Scythe, which randomly pick people to kill. So the only reason why, I really enjoyed the concept and how it was playing out and everything. The only reason why it got such a low score is that there's so much explaining. So I'm hoping the second book will be a little more interesting. But yeah, there was so much background, so much explaining, so much trying to figure, this is Scythe Faraday, and he does this and this, and he lives like this and this. And I was like, okay. I feel like there's some descriptions that the book could have gone without. But next book I read was Intertwined by Gina Showalter. Got 2 stars, 440 pages. This book. It took forever. The book follows Aiden. Well, his real name is Hayden, but since he was a kid, he couldn't say the H, so it's Aiden. But his parents pretty much abandoned him. He's been in and out of the system, in and out of foster homes and everything because people believe he's schizophrenic because he hears voices in his head, which are actually souls living in his head that died around the time he was born. Need to take a breather. And this whole entire time, he's trying to adapt to the world with these voices in his head. He's trying to appear normal. I'm losing my voice. I apologize. But anyways, he's trying to fit normal. He meets this girl at school who finds that he's very interesting. She wants to help him free these souls that are trapped inside him. And of course, there's werewolves involved, which the girl that he thought was his girl that he had a vision about, that he was supposed to be with, she ends up with the werewolf, but he finds the girl in his vision, who is actually the charge of the werewolf, or the werewolf is protecting, because she is a vampire princess and everything. But she's betrothed to another vampire who is all about power, so to say. But like I said, this whole book, it's just him trying to be normal, him trying to survive, learning more about the thoughts or the voices in his head, the spirits, trapped souls, and everything. And the book doesn't pick up until the end. It's all monotone until you get close to the end. And I was like, can we get a little more? It starts off with him fighting, and then it's just bland all the way through until you get to the end. So that's the reason why I got 2 stars for me. But I did request a second book, hoping it will be better than the first. The next book I read was The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I hope I said that right. The book got 2 stars from me. It's 552 pages. It is a historical fiction. I found it interesting to see the point of view in Germany during World War II. But I'm not much of a fan of historical fictions. they tend to bore me to tears. There's been a few that I really enjoyed, but this one was kind of like, okay. But I did find it interesting. We follow this little girl who is the book thief. The book is told in the Grim Reaper's eyes, which is another interesting thing. But this book got 2 stars. It's a great historical fiction, but it's just not for me. Last book I've read is Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It got 2 stars. It's 392 pages. Again, we're dealing with werewolves. This book I did try to read a while back, but when I was trying to read it, I was recovering from surgery way back before college. And I couldn't read it then because I was too focused on recovering, and then I just forgot about it. But I finally picked it up. I listened to the audiobook, and it's an interesting concept. We have werewolves, but if it's warm enough, they stay human, and if it's cold, they turn into wolves. And it's just the story of trying to find this one student that was in, I forgot the lead's name, but the lead female's school. So there's that. Everyone thinks he's dead, but he's actually a werewolf now and everything, and he's changing, and he's trying to find a cure. But they're trying to find him before he hurts anyone else. So that's the whole story. And then it picks up at the end where they find this werewolf that they've been looking for. He's so sure there's a cure for this, and there's not, because they think there's a cure because the lead female was attacked by wolves and by these werewolves, and she was bitten, but she never changed. So, but that's it. It was like, it's another like bland all the way until the end. It's very slow until the end. I don't like slow books. But I did like the concept. I did request the second book just to see how it will progress after how this one ended. So I look forward to reading more of that. But anyways, that is all the books I've read so far. I am currently reading 2 more books. Hopefully I don't get sick. Hopefully I don't get busy. And hopefully my mind stays productive. That's why I've been gone for so long. But anyways, I'm going to head out. I hope y'all have a good day, evening, or whatever time you're watching this. If you have any suggestions on what I should read next, please leave them in the comments section below. And until next time, I hope only good things happen to you. Bye.